In this video podcast for the JVC GY-DV500 DV camcorder, you will learn about many of the buttons and switches for this camera. Plug the power cord into the input at the back of the camera. The power unit for this camera does not have a power switch. Plug the power cord into an outlet. It is now safe to turn on the camera. To use a battery, open the battery compartment and line up the angled side of the battery to the compartment. Place the battery inside and snap the top of the compartment closed. The eject button will let you put a tape inside the camcorder. It opens the tape door on the side of the camera. Place a tape inside the door and push the door closed using the proper area of the tape door. You will see the play, rewind, fast forward, stop, and still buttons next to the eject button. These allow you to watch footage in the viewfinder. To begin recording footage, press the VTR trigger button on the zoom servo handle. There is another VTR trigger button at the front of the camera. A red tally light at the front of the camera will stay on while you're recording if you switch on the tally light near the viewfinder. If you look at the VTR switch, you will see Save and Standby. If you switch to Standby, the camera goes into a record pause mode that lets you shoot quickly between pauses. Save mode stops the drum motor and protects the tape, but it will take longer before recording begins. On the other side of the camera from the VTR switch, you will see the monitor output connector. This is where you will plug in a cable with a BNC connector to use a field monitor. Now you can watch what you are recording on the monitor. You can adjust the audio monitor control dial or volume to listen to what you are recording. If you want to use headphones, you can plug them into the earphone jack at the back of the camera. You can plug an external microphone into the microphone input at the back of the camera. This input is called an XLR connector. You can switch the gain to low, medium, and high to boost the camera's light sensitivity. The greater the boost, the greater the noise in your image. Leave the switch at low if you do not want to use gain. Low is 0 decibels. Use the output switch to select the output signal. Use bars to record bars in tone and sync the camera with your field monitor. Use camera auto knee for select high contrast situations. Often you will leave the output switch at camera knee off while shooting. You can let the camera set the white balance in preset auto mode, or you can manually set the custom white balance to either setting A or B, using the white balance switch. You can choose the appropriate color temperature conversion filter for your shot. This camera has 3 settings. The first for indoors tungsten light, the second for outdoors, and the third for outdoors with a neutral density filter. When manually setting the white balance, push the auto white balance switch upward. This switch is at the front of the camera. Use the iris ring on the zoom lens to open and close the aperture and adjust the amount of light coming into the camera. You want to be sure that the iris mode switch at the top of the zoom servo handle is set to manual before changing the f-stop with your hand. Set the switch to auto to let the camera change the aperture automatically. To change the focal length of the zoom lens, use the zoom ring. You can also zoom using the zoom toggle on the zoom servo handle. You want to be sure that the zoom mode knob at the bottom of the lens is set to manual if you want to move the zoom ring with your hand. Set the knob to servo if you want to zoom with a toggle. You adjust the focus ring manually using the distance markings in feet and meters on the lens. You will also keep an eye to the viewfinder to see if the image appears satisfactory. You'll be using these basic controls of the JVC GY-DV500 DV camcorder on your next shoot.